All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today we're looking at one of the most wild, medically documented true stories of human survival you will ever hear. It's a case that literally shocked the medical world and challenges basically everything we assume about the human body and what it actually takes to just keep us alive. Picture this. You just stop eating completely, starting right this very second. No solid food at all. Ask yourself, how long could your body possibly hold out before things started going terribly wrong? It's kind of a terrifying thought, right? 3 days in? Yeah, for most of us, that's going to feel like hitting a total brick wall. We just naturally assume our normal biological functions and energy levels would basically start shutting down after just a long weekend without a meal. Now, getting to a whole week? No way. That feels practically impossible for the average person. We immediately picture extreme starvation, just profound weakness, and a total absolute collapse of our day-to-day bodily systems. And a month without food sounds like an absolute guaranteed disaster. But actually, one guy flipped that entire script. He survived not just a month, but a completely unbelievable 382 days without eating a single solid meal. And look, this wasn't some internet magic trick or a reckless stunt. Doctors were literally watching him, monitoring him through this entire astonishing journey. Let's set the scene a bit. The year is 1965, and we're looking at a 27-year-old Scottish guy named Angus Barbieri. He was struggling with severe obesity, weighing in at 456 pounds. That's about 207 kilos. Because this weight was an immediate, serious threat to his life, his doctors proposed something pretty radical. A short, strictly medically supervised fast, just to drop some initial weight before slowly easing back into a normal diet. Well, that supposedly short fast evolved into something totally unprecedented. For the next stretch of his life, instead of eating anything solid, Angus survived purely on zero-calorie fluids. We're talking water, sparkling water, tea, and black coffee. Now, this is the really important part. Doctors gave him very specific vitamin and mineral supplements so he wouldn't develop dangerous deficiencies, and they were constantly checking his vitals to make sure he was safe. So you're probably wondering, how on earth did his body actually handle that? It all boils down to a natural biological process called ketosis. Basically, when you're deprived of food, your body switches from burning the calories you eat to burning stored fat for energy. Because Angus had such massive body fat reserves, those reserves essentially became his internal biological engine. His body was able to safely feed on its own stored fuel. But again, only because he was under incredibly strict medical care. So the days turn into weeks, and the weeks literally turn into months. Hit the 6-month mark, everyone expected him to call it quits. He didn't. 9 months in, he's still going strong and safely fasting. By the 1-year mark, medical journals were officially writing about him, because frankly, nothing like this had ever been recorded in history. Finally, after a staggering 382 days, Angus just kind of decided, okay, it's time to eat again. Okay, let's look at the actual numbers here because they are absolutely staggering. Angus completely transformed his physical reality. He dropped from 456 pounds all the way down to just 180 pounds. He quite literally lost more than half of his entire body weight, 276 pounds in total, burning it purely as internal fuel just to keep his vital organs functioning perfectly. Now, I want you to really put yourself in Angus's shoes right at the finish line. Imagine not taking a single bite of food for more than an entire year. What is your very first meal going to be? Are you going for a giant burger, a massive pizza, or just an absolute feast of every single thing you've missed? You totally expect a massive feast, right? But what he actually had really hits the nail on the head regarding how extreme his physiological adaptation was. His first meal was incredibly humble. 1 single boiled egg, a slice of buttered bread, and a cup of coffee. That is the whole shebang. And fascinatingly, he reported feeling completely, totally stuffed after just a few bites. Now, real quick, I absolutely have to throw a major caveat in here. Angus's story does not mean you or anyone else can just stop eating for months. This fast happened under continuous, rigorous medical supervision with very precise electrolyte supplementation. Without that constant medical care, prolonged fasting is going to cause serious illness or even death. Angus is a very rare medical anomaly, and this is absolutely not something you should ever attempt on your own. Angus Barbieri didn't just break a world record. He literally gave medical science a brand new window into how the human body can adapt under the most extraordinary circumstances. Sometimes reality truly is way stranger than fiction. More than half a century later, this whole thing remains one of the most fascinating medical mysteries we've ever documented. And I think it leaves us with this one profound thought. If the human body can biologically adapt to survive 382 days without a single bite of food, what other incredible, totally untapped limits are we truly capable of pushing?